This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. We help people actually build wealth, actually do work that they love, and actually create amazing relationships. Rachel Cruz, #1 best-selling author and Ramsey personality, and my daughter is with me today as a co-host. We'll be taking your questions about your life and your money. The phone number is free. Some say the advice is worth what you pay for it. 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Looks like Mario's going to start us off this hour, and he is in Atlanta. Hey, Mario, how are you?
I'm doing better than I deserve, as you would say, Dave. I'm doing great. Glad to be on the show.
We're honored to have you, sir. How can we help?
So the big point is I'm fairly new. I'm not new to you, but fairly new to the show, and I'm really on fire and on board about just becoming financially free, debt-free. The teachings that you and your team teach are phenomenal. And my big question is, I want to know the best way to get my wife on board with implementing some of the drastic changes that we would need to make in order to get to that point. I make a pretty good, I have a strong income. I know all of our debt areas. I know the areas that, where I feel like we're, spending too much or overindulging, but I know that I'm going to get some resistance with the changes that we're going to need to make in order to get to where I know that we can get to.
Give me an example of one of the changes that you think you need to make that you think you're going to get resistance on.
Some areas of convenience, like going out to eat a lot, or ordering food.
How much debt have you got?
A lot of, including house.
No, not including house.
Okay. Credit card debt, I'm at about $15,000 credit card debt. Student loans total around $75,000. And I have one car that's not completely paid off, and I think we owe $12,000 on that car.
And what's your household income?
$175,000.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's a great income. So Mario, what's causing you to believe that she's going to have a hard time with all of this? Is it comments she's made? Is it something that in your head you just know her and you know what's going to be coming? Has she given you clues on it? Like, I want to know.
Oh yeah.
I have proof.
So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, comments she's made. There's other things that I've
so why
implemented.
So then, for her in these conversations, what are her hesitations?
So, a lot of it has to do with our kids.
Okay.
So, like, for instance, I'll say, okay, hey, we've completely paid off this particular credit card. We're not going to use it. We're going to put it up. Interest rate is high on this thing. It doesn't make sense in paying somebody to borrow from my future self. I do all of that. And she's like, great, sounds good. But then time will go on, and I'll see charges on the credit card. And then when I say, hey, what happened here? Why did this take place? And it was like, oh, well, I had to do this. I had to make this decision and do this. And,
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of like, these things, come up. Like I said, a lot of times it's with the girls.
Yes.
My kids.
Sure. And it's life, right? Because you guys have not put systems in place for life to look different. So you're still keeping the credit card. We're going to put this credit card over here, and we shouldn't touch it, but it's still there. Get rid of it. Do you guys have a written budget that you have together, sharing an account, saying, hey,
Yep.
here's the line item for the kids. This is what we're going to spend on the kids. Here's the line item for you, me, food, out to eat, clothes. Here's where every single dollar this month is going.
I've done all of that.
No, have you guys together? No, Mario. Have you guys together done that? Have we done that, or have you done that?
So I have done it. And I've shared it, and it's communicated, this looks good, I'm on board, let's do it, let's run this plan. and we'll start running the plan, and
Okay,
things will veer off.
Totally. So Mario, I also think, I'm sure Ramsey has become a cuss word in your house because a little bit of me, I'm fearful that you're using this against her, because I don't believe your wife is malicious. I think she's a great mom, probably a great wife. And so these things, life is just happening to her, and she's reacting, obviously not in the way that you prefer, or that even what we would teach, right? She's going charging the credit card, all that.
Fair.
But it's not malicious. And so, so I think that there needs to be a higher level conversation to say, okay, you and I together as a couple, where do we want to be? What do we want life to look like in 5 years? What do we want? What is our why? Like, does she have any level of pain or stress around money? Is she worried in any way? Like, I want
Not
you guys
at all.
to
yeah. Me for the most part, I am.
The weight's on you.
I don't want to have to work until I retire.
100%. Totally.
And right now, I'm the.
Listen.
She's a homemaker.
You're treating her like she's your teenage daughter. She's not a partner she's not a partner in any of this. You're just bringing the budget and laying it down, giving some instructions about a credit card, and then you're shocked that she didn't do what you told her to do. She's not a partner. Rachel's right. You need to get above this, and the two of you need to sit down with the kids away or the kids in bed and say, we have $102,000 in debt. We make $175,000. That makes us stupid people. We need to change some stuff here. We're broke and we make $175,000 a year. We have got to, as a couple, aim at something bigger than kids' clothes. Lord Jesus. Right. Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And so we've got to have a big plan that we're going at. Now, honey.
And he feels it. And
I know. But this is him and his wife talking, okay?
Yes.
We have to get on the same page. I do not want to be your daddy. I don't want to be your daddy. I want to be your husband. And I need like a grown woman beside me, helping me make decisions about our future.
And she needs an input in all of that,
and then she gets input.
She gets to say.
And then, by God, when she gives input, it's a contract.
Yes.
But she has no reason. Wow. She has no contract with you now because you dictated it to her and walked away, and then were shocked that she went and bought kids' clothes on a credit card because she had no buy-in.
Right.
She had no buy-in. None whatsoever. Yeah. She didn't have a voice in this, and she has no belief in the overall vision. She was just going along with you.
Yes. And I would say this, too, just as an encouragement, Mario, that the conversations that I feel like Winston and I, the best conversations we have around money is not really even about money. It's more like, hey, let's just dream. And in 5 years, what do we want our life to look like? How old are the girls going to be? What kind of car do we want to drive? What vacations do we take? What do we want to be giving to in general? Like, allow your numbers then to motivate you to your goals together as a couple, where you guys both want to go. And then the day-to-day plays into that. But kind of, I'm
looking at her and I'm going, I make $175,000 a year. I'm really not okay with us being broke. I think that's crazy.
Fair. Yes.
It's just crazy.
But also there's a level, yes, I know, but there's also a level marriage-wise to get above it to have a conversation as a couple.
I think it's all of that.
Yeah.
I think it's every bit of that. But I think you got to say, look, we're sloppy.
Yeah.
We're disorganized.
Yes.
We're fat.
And
we need to
what can we do to help you for the wife?
What can we do together to fix this? If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular, and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com. Cruz, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, joins me this hour. Rachel and George and I have spent the morning going over our talk and stuff we're doing tomorrow night, the real estate reality check. It is a free live stream that you can watch. It'll be about an hour long. You can join us July the 14th at 7 p.m. Central Time. Free live stream. Just go to RamseySolutions.com. We're going to dig into the real estate market.
All the facts. No feelings. Just facts.
We're going to address your feelings, but we don't make decisions based on those feelings.
That's right. It's still a crazy world out there. There's still a lot of fear and questions and
anger
and predictions and
anger. There's a lot of anger.
And you predicting it's not going to burst.
I can't buy a house, so I'm mad at Dave. You know, that kind of anger.
Oh.
You know, there's a lot of that. So, yeah, I mean, I posted a blog about this stuff last week, and it's gotten like, I don't know, several 100,000 or almost 1 million views or whatever. But the comments are angry. It's
because of the formula.
Yeah, well, they just don't. No, period. They just don't. You know, I'll never listen to you again, because I'm basically, you know, just saying the housing market's not going to crash.
Yeah,
and that pisses people off. You know, they want it to crash. It's weird. So yeah, when there's that much fear, people misinterpret it all kinds of ways, and it's very interesting. So we're going to cover the facts. We're actually going to have a little bit of a college class almost.
Professor Dave, he's coming out.
Get my little prof hat
ready.
out, and that's about as close as I'll ever get to that. But And we're going to cover some of that, and then George and Rachel and I will go through some of your feelings and comments and your, things people are concerned about. We want to address what people are concerned about.
And frustrated.
Yeah.
And frustrated because what you could buy 36 months ago in a house is not the thing you can buy now. And that's frustrating when you've saved up and you've gotten yourself out of debt and all of it. So what does it look like? And what's the reality of grieving what was,
I experienced
expectations
that same
now?
anger when I filled up my Raptor. You know?
Okay, filling up your truck and buying a home, though.
I know, but it's still frustration. It's like I can't control the price of this crap. I just have to put it in my truck, you know. And then I'm laying I told him yesterday I was laying on the pavement, holding my heart, having a heart attack, and Rachel drove up in her Tesla and laughed at me because she didn't have to buy gas. So,
plug her in. Plug her in.
Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. Find out for yourself why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. When you get ready to put up a shade or some kind of window covering, you get free samples, free shipping, new promos all the time. This is a great company. We've been endorsing them for a long time, and they take great care of you. Use the promo code at Blinds.com, promo code Ramsey.
Today's question comes from Lindsay in Albuquerque. We have $10,000 beyond our 6 months emergency savings, and we want to use that to help pay down our mortgage because we have no other debt. But with inflation, we partly feel the need to keep it in case inflation gets worse. Should we save it or put it towards the mortgage? Thanks so much. You have inspired us to live like no one else. It's a great question. I mean, inflation just came out to 9.1% in June. It went up higher than they were even expecting and predicting. So it is something obviously that's affecting all of us. We were laughing about the gas earlier, but groceries, I mean, all of it, the everyday necessities, it's just gone up and everyone's feeling it. And so I don't think it's enough to not continue on the baby steps. Because Lindsay, if you guys have an emergency fund in place, it may just mean adjusting your monthly budget, which is not always fun and exciting, but where you are today, I would do that and continue to pay off the mortgage, because becoming debt free and not having a mortgage payment is going to free up more monthly to put towards that inflation and towards your budget, to all your monthly expenses. So I would continue to put that $10,000 towards your mortgage because you have an emergency fund.
Very good. Here's the thing. The $10,000, anytime you have an ongoing chronic event, it's not a singular event, it's going to keep going. And you want to offset that with a lump sum, that is always a recipe for mathematical suicide. Because you're going to burn the lump sum and then you're screwed because you never made any changes to adjust to the situation.
Yeah.
Okay, so example of that is we saved up $20,000. My wife wanted to quit and come home, and that $20,000 is going to make it okay to not have her income. No, it's not. Because if you're burning through the $20,000 because your spending was at a level higher than his income while she comes home. When you burn through the $20,000, you're screwed.
Yep.
So that's a chronic, ongoing serial event, which is her income goes away permanently. Monthly, we are underwater because we made no changes, and the lump sum made it feel better until the lump sum's gone.
Right.
And that's the exact same thing here.
Okay, let's talk about inflation for a second, can we? Because it continues to rise. Mm-hmm. And what are you seeing when you're looking out? It's like, okay, because what causes inflation? You know, we say around here supply and demand, and we can talk about that more. But there's a lot of people pointing fingers, a lot of different directions. You know, Biden saying, well, the war in Iraq, and then I'm sorry, not the war in Ukraine, and Russia's causing it. People are saying, well, the Fed runs in the interest. I mean, there's fingers pointing everywhere of what's causing inflation, and it continues to rise. It's not like we're seeing it subside. Like
my personal opinion is that's a lagging indicator, the CPI, that it's not. I mean, this time next year we're not going to be at 9%. I really don't believe it. I predicted that we were going to be here now a year ago.
You did, which
okay,
was
and I don't think we'll be here now a year from now.
It'll be better.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot better. And here's why. There's three major components to this inflation. It is not a white-hot economy that caused the inflation. In the 70s, we had a white-hot, overheated economy, and it drove things crazy. COVID, by and large, the pandemic, the economic suppression, when we shut down the world, we left entire gaps in supply. Factories weren't making cars. Factories weren't making lumber. Services weren't being provided. So we left these huge gaps. And so we ended up with shortages in everything. Okay, and we had supply chain problems with it because we couldn't get stuff off the ocean. It was sitting in the bay at LA and that kind of stuff. So all of those shortages, anytime there's a shortage of something, it runs the price up. Now that's smoothing out. Okay, for instance, lumber went up triple. It was running about $500 a board foot, and then it went to $1,700 a board foot. It went up triple, and now it's back to about $480 a board foot right now. Okay, so it's the factories caught up to the supply, caught up to the demand, and the price came back and normalized. Same is happening with cars. Used cars, for the first time in the history of mankind, went up. You know, they went up, and the reason they went up was there was no new cars.
Right.
And once new cars started hitting the lots again, the factory started emptying the car containers right there on the lot. Boom, 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 boom. They start lining up on the lot. Now you got new cars, so that, again, that's absorbing some of the demand. There's more supply, so used cars are coming back down, and they're going to start going down again like they used to.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're seeing that part of the inflation go away, but it's not all gone yet, and it's still a component.
Well, it's going up.
It's still a component of that nine.
Okay.
The CPI is the Consumer Price Index.
Okay.
That is the measure of inflation, and that's the measure of goods and services. And they've got it weighted, meaning that the things that you spend the most on have the bigger portion of creating that 9%. Okay? So the things that you spend the least on, actual dollars. Okay? So, for example, housing is an element of the CPI. Well, obviously, in all of our budgets, most people's budgets that have a house payment, housing is the biggest line item in your budget. So it's the biggest portion. So as long as housing is going up, your CPI is going to go up. So housing goes up a little, bread and milk and meat,
eggs and cheese and crackers
and all that stuff.
Everything.
But look at the number of dollars you spend on that versus the number of dollars you spend on housing.
Right.
If that goes way down and housing goes up, you're still going to see inflation.
Okay.
Yeah. But if housing goes down and
housing values,
the prices go down, the values go down, and milk and bread doubles, you might not even see inflation because the house price going down might.
So the housing market has caused all this inflation.
It drives a lot of it, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
And energy is the other one.
Energy.
The cost at the pump. That's what's killing us, and that one is a political issue. That's not an economic issue. That was created by Biden shutting it off to go green. And when he did that, created a tremendous shortage, and it's doubled our gas prices.
Life is full of firsts. first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage. Stephanie is with us. Hi, Stephanie. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Dave and Rachel, how are you both?
We're honored to have you. Where do you live?
I am about 25 minutes away from Boston, Massachusetts.
Awesome. How much debt have you paid off?
About $105,000.
Way to go, kiddo. Excellent. How long did this take you?
3 years and 8 months.
Wow. And your range of income during that time?
So I started at about $60,000, and I ended at $115,000.
Excellent. And what do you do for a living?
So I work for a hospital. I'm a manager in IT.
Good for you. Okay, cool. And what kind of debt was the $105,000?
So it was everything, Dave. About $360 was medical. I had $3,100 in a car loan, $6,200 personal loan, $7,000 in credit card debt, and the biggest was my student loans. It was about $88,000.
Wow. Okay, very cool. Okay, tell us your story. What happened 3 years and 8 months ago that put you on this journey?
So I've been living with debt since I was 18. So from the first time I got a credit card, I just...
How old are you now?
36.
Okay.
So it took me 18 years to get here.
Okay.
But so 2018, like I said, I'd been struggling for many years. And, I'd really have been praying and asking God to really help me because I never knew how to budget, just was out of control, didn't know what to do. So September 2018, I was home on maternity leave. I had my third child. And I was actually searching for sermons really to watch on YouTube. And then in my feed, this couple video came up, and the title was Dave Ramsey Ruined Our Lives. And so I never saw the couple before, never watched them ever, and I never heard your name. But it was a pretty, good-looking couple, sharp couple, so I decided to watch. And they proceeded to say how, from the time they started your program, they were getting out of debt. I mean, selling things left and right, living on rice and beans, not going out, just, making sacrifices to live the life that they wanted to live ultimately. And so I, sat, and I believe it was divine connection. I believe God led me to that video. And so as I was watching, I said, wow, like they can do it. I can do it too. So I started searching for you on YouTube. At that time, I just saw a lot of the short videos, the 7 to 10 minute clips. I didn't know you had a show, but I just started digging into those, learned about the 7 baby steps. I learned about, just what you teach, what you practice, and it all made sense. Like I said, I was on maternity leave, so I was making half of my income at the time because it was just using my vacation time to try and spread the time out. So I downloaded the EveryDollar app, and I couldn't really start the budget until October. That's when I went back to work. But I had the budget in place. I listened to, Rachel Cruz and all the material that you guys put out there and tried to do my budget as best I could. And so once I went back to work in October, my budget was set, and I pretty much hit the ground running. I initially started out, I was, picking up Instacart shifts, even with sometimes my little kids in the car, my daughter. I would work full time during the day, and I picked up a temp agency job, at the evening. So we were home. It was during COVID. So, kids running around in the background, but I'm doing a temp agency job. And I also, delivered pizza for Domino's, a short while. Fast forward to 2020, December 2020, I interviewed and got a position at another hospital, so that jumped me up in my pay about $20,000. And the next year, 2021, about November, I got a promotion to manager, and that jumped me up as well. So that has been my journey up, through 2018 to now.
Golly.
You worked your tail off, kiddo.
I was. And you know what? I believed in the vision. I believed what you taught. And from that first paying off that first credit card, just seeing how free, how a little bit of, space in my budget. And I said, wow, this really works. And I was determined, regardless of what people said, I was determined that I was going to do it, not just for myself and my kids, to leave a legacy. And that's really why I kept going.
Wow. Congratulations.
That's
very proud of you.
That's a big deal. I mean, we get all different types of debt-free screams on the stage and we celebrate them all. But you doing this with little ones over 3 years, working all these shifts. I mean, you've done the hard work. You've done it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
That's beautiful. What do you tell people the secret to getting out of debt is? It sounds like 7 extra jobs.
Yeah. Well, and perseverance, but I think the biggest thing is a mindset change. People that I talk to and I share my journey with, they're happy for me, but a lot of what I hear is, you'll never be out of debt. You're always going to have debt. And by soaking myself into your show, listening, watching all the debt-free screams that have come across the stage, watching the Everyday Millionaire, listening to all these people that have done it and they live debt-free. It is possible. So I think it requires a mindset shift, being around different people, listening, but realizing that it is possible, but also perseverance. I mean, regardless of what comes. I mean, I had life happen during those 3 and, 8 months. So, but it's perseverance, being willing to persevere through and trusting God in the process.
Yeah.
Because once you've committed to it, He will see you through the end.
Amen. Amen. Well done. Very, very, very well done. Who are your biggest...
I would say a little bit of everybody. I mean, my mom is here, my family, they all supported me through this journey. My coworkers at work, and at the time when I could pick up on-call shifts, they would know I was on this journey, and so they would, help me out, send me there on-call shifts. But I think the biggest one is my oldest daughter. During COVID, she was my babysitter. When I had to pick up the shifts, she was my babysitter. And she sacrificed a lot, but she knew what we were after. She knew the reason why we sacrificed. And she was willing to delay gratification for a season so that we could be here today, and become debt-free. So I would say she's my biggest out of everyone, my biggest supporter, my biggest cheerleader.
Was it worth it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How's it feel to be free?
Amazing. I cash flowed this trip here. It wasn't cheap, but I didn't stress. The money's there. It's absolutely amazing, and I wouldn't trade anything for the world. I would do it again if I had to.
And you don't have any payments. That's the beauty of it. Making $120,000 a year and the ability to pick up and do whatever you need to do because you've proven that to yourself.
Absolutely.
And to your kids. So your kids got to witness a warrior princess. That's beautiful.
Amen.
Yeah, you got after it, kiddo. You really got after it. Well done.
Amen.
Very, very well done.
Congratulations. You're a good mom.
Absolutely.
You're a good mom.
We got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires for you. That is definitely the next chapter in your story. You are on your way.
Thank you.
And a copy of the Total Money Makeover for you to give away to someone who was inspired by your story that you run into, because I'm sure you've talked about it some. And, of course, Financial Peace University. We want you to go through the class. We just launched the new videos, the best class we've ever had at Financial Peace right now available. So a 1-year membership will give you that as well.
If
you've been through it and you want to give it away, that's fine. We're happy to have you pass it on however you want to do it. It's very, very good. All right, bring the kiddos up and tell us their names and ages.
So I have Sanaya. Sanaya is 15 years old. Emanuela, she is 5. And my youngest one, Atara, she's 3 years old.
All right. Love it. Beautiful. Very, very, very well done. All right, Stephanie from Boston, Mass. 3 years and 8 months to pay off $105,063 jobs. I'm exaggerating a tiny bit, but not much. And some help from the teenage daughter. That's just beautiful. $60,000 to $115,000 income during that time. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
Yeah! Well done. Oh, man.
She made me tear up.
She gets it.
I got the
She gets it,
sniffles.
and she pushed it through. That's beautiful. Very, very well done. That lady's a force of nature right there, man. That's what you have to do.
Mom's like that, though.
She said it beautifully. What's it take? It takes a mindset change.
I know. And you have and it's not forever.
It's a mindset change.
But in those moments and those nights, it's hard to leave, and she still did.
I'm going to live like no one else so that later I can live and give like no one else. This is The Ramsey Show. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author. My daughter is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Ben's with us in Salt Lake. Hey, Ben, what's up?
Hey, Dave. Hey, Rachel. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I've got an investment property, and I'm debating whether or not to sell it. I've got enough equity in it to pay off my mortgage plus, quite a bit extra, and I'm just wondering if it makes sense to go ahead and sell it.
Okay. What's it worth?
Best estimate is about $300K.
Okay. What's your home worth?
$750,000, $800K.
Okay. All right.
And how much do you have left on your house, Ben, to pay off?
About 120.
Okay.
Less than
What's
that,
your household income?
About 190.
Okay. All right. Well, you can run the numbers out both ways, okay? Because here's the goal. The goal is to end up with zero debt because that is your fastest method to build wealth. Okay? At least the fastest right way to build wealth because it's gonna free up everything and you're gonna head the right direction. So if you had no payments, making 190, but you didn't have a rental property anymore, you would probably begin to save towards buying your next paid-for investment property, wouldn't you?
Yes.
In 10 years from today, you would have a paid-for house, paid-for rental property. 10 years from today, if you just beat on both of these with a $190,000 income, you probably can work your way through and be debt-free on both of them by 10 years from today, right?
Yeah. When I run out the numbers, it's more like 4 or 5.
Yeah, okay. So really the trade-off is 4 or 5 years. The trade-off is not, I'm going to be in debt the rest of my life because I don't make this decision.
Yeah. And the other side of that is also the taxes that would be due if we did sell it. So.
Well, that's one side of it. The other side of it is the peace and freedom you would have without screwing with a renter or a mortgage. And
very true.
So there's trade-offs all the way around this deal. So I think I love investment real estate. If you listen to this for very long, you know that I own a bunch of it personally.
Yes.
But not everyone should own real estate. Not everybody likes it, and not everybody wants to mess with it. So this particular $300,000 investment property, you like it, love it, don't care.
Like it.
Okay, so 10 years from now, you'll be glad you own it.
Yeah, yes, definitely.
Okay. I'm probably just going to work through paying them both off.
Okay. That's excellent advice.
You see how I got there?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how I got there is probably more important than the actual advice. But, again, if it was going to take you 20 years, if you told me you had an $80,000 income, I'd sell your investment probably in about 30 seconds.
Right. No, that's not the case.
Yeah, but I mean, you see how I'm analyzing that. That's my point.
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so what's your threshold then? I thought you were going to say something different.
Really?
Yeah, I thought you would say sell it, pay off the house, take the
5 years. 5 years is about my threshold.
Okay, that was my question.
If he can clear the deck in 5 years.
In 5 years.
So, same thing on paying off your car. Okay, think about your car. Okay, what do we tell people? We tell people
if you can pay it off in 18 to 24 months.
Right.
Yeah.
Then it's okay. But if it's going to take you 4 years, so why wouldn't you just sell the car every time? Because you're going to turn around and buy another one.
Yeah, but a cheaper one.
I know, but I'm saying if you could pay off the car in 18 months and you sell it today to get out of debt, you're going to be turning around buying another car in 18 months. So it's it just was a dollar swap. In other words, the car was not weighing you down to the point you couldn't get out of debt.
Right.
And the same thing's true here. The 5-year mark on this, because he can clear his mortgage and his house.
Yeah.
When most of the people following the baby steps are debt-free, house and everything, takes them about 7 to 8 years to pay off their home alone, just the home.
Right.
But because he has an inordinately high income in relation to his mortgages.
Yes. Yep.
Then he can knock it out.
He could do both.
But again, if it was going to drag out 12 years, I'd have flipped it.
Sure.
And the thing that would have caused that to happen would have been if his income was lower.
Yes. Okay, but then on the other end, though, he sells it. Mm-hmm. He's
100% free.
100% free. And then he goes and buys a cheaper rental.
Later, 3 or 4 or 5 years from now. So he's back in the rental business. And either way, at the end of 5 to 7 years.
He's still in the rental business.
At the end of 5 to 7 years, he has a paid-for mortgage and a rental business. At the end of 18 months, you still got a nice car.
Yep.
You didn't have to flip in and out of it, was all.
True.
That's the difference. And so,
if this was like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, some game show, I would have lost. what would Dave Ramsey? I really was like expecting you to say sell it and pay off the mortgage, have the piece, have your extra cash, and if you want to go buy something else later,
and
cash, free.
And of course, there's another element to this. He likes the rental property.
Fair. If he
said, it's a bad neighborhood, I'm not that thrilled with it, I probably wouldn't buy it again, then sure, let's go ahead and flip it out now.
Yep.
But he's like, he didn't love it.
If his mortgage was different.
If his mortgage was different, his income was different, or if he didn't like the property, would have been a different answer.
Good.
So
all right.
That's
you learn something new every day.
Brad is in Toledo. Hey, Brad, what's up?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Great, man. How can we help?
So my wife and I, we're frequent listeners. We've been investing for a while, and we're just kind of struggling to understand some of the advice that you put out there when it comes to like a Roth versus a brokerage account.
Mm-hmm.
So we have no debt. We bring home before tax, about $175 a year. Our living expenses are like $45,000. So that would put us in like a 0% or a 0% capital gains tax bracket for a long-term capital gains, at that kind of living expense. So what's the advantage of a Roth contribution versus like a brokerage account when you fall into that 0% long-term capital gains tax bracket?
Well, I'm sorry. Take me one more time I got lost from $175,000 income. You said, right?
Yes.
And it's why with that income you have a 0% capital gains again?
Well, I'm just looking at in the future our living expenses, if we were to replace that with investment income rather than try to replace our 175 if we were trying to cover our living expenses.
But capital gains doesn't go to zero just because you want to cover your living expenses. When you have capital gains on a brokerage account, at $175,000, you pay 15% on it. 0%.
Correct. But
so
if we were to...
So if you're going to pay 15% on it versus 0% in a Roth, doesn't that answer your question?
Yes, in that scenario, yes. But I'm saying if our income...
What possible scenario with $175,000 do you get a 0% capital gains rate?
He's going to tell you. Go, Brad.
Never. At $175,000, never.
What do you make?
If we were to pursue different careers where we've made less money and it was more, of a passion job or something like that.
Well, I would suggest you don't do that. I would suggest you find a passion job that pays you $200, not a passion job that pays you $14. It's not going to work out for you. It's not going to work out for you. So, you currently make $175,000 a year. If you are truly going to go on the mission field and make zero, then we can have this discussion. But you're not.
Okay.
You're going to pay 15% on a brokerage account, and you just want to screw around with taxes and screw around flipping stocks and find out some way that's okay to do. No, it's not smart. I would buy mutual funds and a Roth IRA.
Okay, so what if Brad wakes up tomorrow and says, we're going to go work for a nonprofit where my wife and I together, we're going to make $45,000,
Then they're going to have the capital gains tax at $45,000. You don't have zero capital gains unless you make under $20,000. I mean, it's you got to be at the poverty level, and going from 175 to the poverty level in order to have zero capital gains is not a wise move. Okay, that's just there's nothing in this whole scenario that this is like something. No. I don't think it's going to happen in your world, sir. And so you need to do Roth IRAs. It's pretty simple. The math is going to work out better for you all the way around. Thanks for the call. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books.
Hey, it's Rachel Cruz, co-host on The Ramsey Show. If you want to do your debt-free scream live on the show, visit RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream. We'd love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story. That's RamseySolutions.com/debt-free screen.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. We help people build wealth, do work that they really love, and create actual amazing relationships. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host here on the air, my daughter as well. The phone number is 888-825-5225. Starting this hour off is Dana in California. Hi, Dana. How are you?
Hi. Thank you for taking my call. I'm doing well. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Well, my husband passed away a little over a year ago.
My goodness.
And I know that I know that you advise people not to make big decisions for about 6 months, but I have a 9-year-old daughter, and he passed away in the home, so we sold the home, and I took a distribution from one of his accounts to pay off our debt and put towards a down payment on the home that we purchased. We relocated. Anyway, now I have a tax burden of $33,000 because I took the distribution from that account. And I'm just wondering if there's some loophole or something that my tax person is missing, perhaps, because it went from one investment to the home, which is technically another investment. So just wondering, I was out of debt for a hot second, and now this.
I'm sorry, Dana.
I'm sorry. How old was he?
He was 36.
My goodness. Okay. What other monies do you have?
I have my monthly income.
What do you make?
And I'll make a little over $90,000 this year.
Okay, good.
So I'll be able to. I will be able to pay it off. I've already run the numbers, and I can pay it off in about a year. But it's putting me. I wanted to have the home paid off, and it's just slowing things down. And
do you have any other money? You say you took a distribution from this particular fund. What's left in it?
There is another fund, but I can't do anything with it right now because of the way that he passed away. There was no life insurance, but this other retirement account is basically at a standstill. I have it. It'll be mine, but it's just pending, like a workers' comp situation.
Okay. All right. And how much does it amount to?
So that one is $168,000.
Okay. When will that situation be settled, do you think?
I'm hoping by June of next year.
Okay. When is the tax bill due? Next April? Or is it already due?
It's due now.
It was due last April. It's late.
Yes, it's late.
Okay.
I filed an extension, but still.
Extensions don't extend payment due.
Correct. Yes,
they only extend the filing. So it was due in April. Okay. And the money, the retirement account you took it out of was how much? How much is left in it?
It was $108,000. So I took the entire account and put it towards my house. I put.
Okay, so you don't have any money left except the retirement that's in dispute.
Yes, I have about $20,000 in other retirement funds. I have my retirement fund that's $10,000, and then I have another.
Do you have any money in just savings?
I have my $1,000.
How much?
Emergency fund.
How much?
$1,000.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Okay. The answer to your question is no. There's nothing you can do. You got bad advice, and the moves that you made have pinched you into a corner because your house is not an investment that is transferable from a retirement account. Both are technically, qualify under the term investment, but for tax purposes, they're not even close to being the same thing. So no, you're going to pay $33,000. You made a bad move. So what I would do is this: you have a debt of $33,000. The debt is with the IRS at a high interest rate and high penalties. Okay?
Yes.
So turning it into a different kind of debt is not taking out debt. It's just changing the type of debt it is. So if you can go down to your credit union making $90,000 and borrow $33,000 and pay it off, that'd be the thing to do.
Okay, I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
The tax person said that they're good debtors. You might as well just leave it and pay it off with the payment plan.
Your tax person is apparently an absolute idiot. He got you into this in the first place, and now he's giving you that advice. IRS interest rates are nowhere, and penalties are nowhere even close to the credit union. They're a loan shark.
Well, actually, I didn't ask for anybody's advice when I took the distribution and put it towards the home. But
okay, all right, then I won't blame him for that. But no, that's ridiculous advice. So no, you can pay the IRS off in a year if you want, but you're going to pay a ridiculous interest rate. I'd rather you pay off your credit union in 9 months.
Okay, yeah, I can go do that today. I was wondering about that. Okay,
that's going to be your best move, and then I want you to slow down here, okay? Okay, slow down. There's some things you needed to do because of the situation. I get that, okay, but you cost yourself $35,000 because you and I'm not picking on you. I just don't want you to do this again next time. So slow down. That's why we tell people to move slow. Now, again, I get that you sold the house or you needed to sell the house emotionally. That's fine. But I wouldn't have minded if you moved into a rental for a little while until some of this stuff got cleared up, until you had the money saved up to do some other things, clear your debts. I would have advised you to go slower. But
so
that's
it's a hard situation.
It's horrible. It's horrible to go through. I'm so sorry.
Having a kid and then this happening, Dana, at your age and the situation when it is, your mind is in a fog. So don't have the guilt and the shame.
No, I'm not trying to do that.
No, I know you're not. But just saying to her, though, because I think so many money mistakes, whether you're in the situation or not, follow people. And I think people beat themselves up. Yeah. And they're like, why did I do this? Why do I do this? Because that number just continues to follow you. So as much as you can, Dana, just let it go. You're a good mom.
Knock the 33 out, but make the commitment then to learn from the bruises. And we always got to learn from our bruises, and that's all I want you to do. I don't want you to carry it as a permanent wound. That's not my goal here, but I do want you to learn from the bruise. So, go take out a credit union loan, pay it off. Don't take financial advice from your tax person. They're apparently not very good at it. And then let's get it paid off as quick as we can, and then slow down. Just make 90. Give yourself some room to heal, girl. You've been through hell. I'm so sorry. This is The Ramsey Show. Chaos. That's what it can feel like when your business is growing so fast you've outgrown your financial and accounting software. The faster you grow, the more likely you are to lose control of the numbers. And here's the reality. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. That's why we use NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. Over 28,000 companies use NetSuite by Oracle, including Ramsey Solutions, because NetSuite gives us a single view of everything we need to make daily decisions. Whether you're making a few million to hundreds of millions a year, NetSuite gives you the visibility and control of the things you need to grow, like your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more, all in one dashboard. Go to netsuite.com/Ramsey right now to get their free white paper. Jumpstart your CFO career. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Parents, if you've got school-age kids, the last thing you want is for them to be normal adults, broke. You want them to be weird, not broke, like you. And that's why you've already got them listening to the Ramsey Show in the backseat of your car, all that kind of stuff. We're 100% on board with that. We got tons of stuff to help you and your kids' teachers packed into our back-to-school sale. One of the biggest challenges teachers face is getting students to actually engage in classroom conversations. Dr. John Deloney created classroom editions of his Questions for Human cards. They're made for elementary, middle, and high school kids, help them build lifelong friendships and real conversations. At home, you can keep the fun and the learning going with our popular children's books and tools, the Adventure Pack, family favorite that includes the new Storytime collection. And if there's a teacher in your life or your kid's life, pick them up a Questions for Humans classroom editions. Good icebreaker. Gets conversations going among the kiddos. And grab one of our family favorite children's products. Help out with all this. We're all there to help you at RamseySolutions.com. Evan's with us in Winston-Salem. Hi, Evan. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Well, me and my wife, we're on baby step 3B, trying to save for a house, and we've got a chance to buy a house from a family member. She's my wife's cousin, and not really like a close family member, but they're offering it to us at 3.5% interest on a 15-year fixed rate owner financing.
Mm-hmm.
And I've called around to the banks. The best that I can do is probably around 4 or a little over 4. Mm-hmm. And so me and my wife were longtime listeners, and we just wasn't sure about owner financing or if that was a safe thing to do.
Owner financing is as safe as anything else. If you have a good attorney, draft the documents. It's not a land contract. It's an actual mortgage, and the deed of the house goes into your name.
Yes.
Okay, there's no land contracts at all. We don't do those. Okay. Now, the downside of the whole scenario you're giving, the other upside is you're going to have a lot less costs involved, closing costs, other things that you're going to not have with owner financing. So that part's all wonderful. How often do you have dinner with this cousin?
This is the first time that we've spoken to them, and probably at their wedding about 10 years ago, maybe.
Okay, so you never see them. You're not mad at them, but it's not a relationship you have.
No, it's just not one that we have. Correct.
Okay, because here's the thing. It's going to affect whatever relationship you have. The borrower is slave to the lender. When you borrow money from someone, you change your relationship from cousin to master.
Yep.
Okay, and so if your father-in-law loans you this money, I would tell you no. Because Thanksgiving dinner tastes different when you eat with your master. It will change the tone, the relationship between you and your wife, her dad, all that kind of stuff. Never do that one. But this one is really, there's not much of a relationship here. This is almost like a stranger.
Yes.
And so I'm probably doing it.
Okay.
I agree. It's another one, Evan, in most of the calls, though, when it comes to borrowing money from family, it's just an absolute no. But there's these exceptions like this.
This is so
where it's
distant.
where it's so distant, and it's like there's not really, you're not going to be with them. You're not seeing them every day. You guys aren't chatting and talking, and there's not really much of a relationship to hinder because there's not much of a relationship. So in that, it makes...
Nobody's mad. We're not saying that.
No.
It's just the thing is, if it absolutely completely went bad and went sideways and everybody was mad, it really wouldn't change your life.
Right.
Yeah, and we're not calling that. We're not saying that's going to happen. But the point being that, if you borrow from your father-in-law, that you lose that relationship. Now
or
you've
a
lost
sibling,
a serious relationship.
or an in-law. I mean,
somebody that you're spending time with.
Yeah.
But like Rachel's got cousins that she actually has really tight relationships with. Right? Mm-hmm. That you would not do this. You would not do this deal with them
I
because
wouldn't do
it
that
would change.
Yeah.
Not a chance. I'm not changing. Because I'm telling you, man, the old joke is if you loan your brother-in-law $100 and he never speaks to you again, was it worth it, right? I mean, you know. So, because it does change the relationship when you loan or borrow money. It just does. So, but the point being here is there's not much of a relationship to change. So I'm doing it because it's a cheaper interest rate, saves money. Make sure you have an attorney close the deal like you would any other professional transaction. Get title insurance, get an inspection on the house, get an appraisal on the house, all of those kinds of things you would do if you were doing a normal transaction, to where no one's getting screwed here. There's all very business-like and button up. All the documents are done. They're properly filed at the courthouse. A title company does the closing. You do everything right here. If you do all of that right, you're going to have lowered cost and a lowered interest rate, and it's a good deal. Go get it.
There you go.
Matthew's with us in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hi, Matthew. How are you?
Great. How are you guys doing?
Better than we deserve. What's up?
I've just got kind of a career question, but I was going to give you a rundown of myself and my wife's financials first. We're both self-employed, no debt other than our home. I make about $120. She makes about $60. We owe $160 on our home. It's worth about $305. And I actually sell real estate. Really looking forward to the reality check. And I'm just curious, should I take the chance, because I have an opportunity to start my own brokerage, but should I take that chance with a baby on the way with all the risks that we know come with starting your own company?
So you're a real estate broker now making $120,000 a year?
I'm an agent, yes.
That's
I'm not
what I mean.
a broker yet. I'm getting my license shortly, yes.
Okay. How long have you been selling real estate?
A little over a year.
Okay.
I'm 22. My wife's 22 also.
Okay. I was doing the same thing you're doing when I was your age. And I got my real estate license when I was 18. Okay, so I know what you're facing. One of the things you're facing is it's tough to have credibility with people to sell them houses when you're only 22, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You got an uphill battle there. And having your own brokerage would probably help with that a little. Or it might scare them even more.
Well, see, I feel like I don't have as much of a problem with customers as I would with people working under me who have been doing it 20 years and think...
For how young you are, right. From like a leadership perspective, someone respecting.
Right.
Yeah.
And just with a kid doing October, it's like, do we take this chance when we're sitting pretty good right now?
Yeah. And we've got a real estate market that is twisting and turning in the wind. It's very unpredictable right now. I mean, I think the market's going to slow down. I don't think house prices are going to go down. We've already said that out loud, but I think it's going to slow down.
So my only concern would be, Matthew, you got into the real estate business in the best time ever. So like what you made then, not saying you can't make that again by any means, but it was probably easier to make what you made then than it's going to be easier to make that same amount in the next coming years because of the slowing and softening of the market. So
what's your wife say?
She says do it because it's a pretty good option. I mean, it's a pretty good opportunity with a business partner who has a very good in.
I'm sorry, a business partner. That's new information.
Yeah, I would be opening it with a partner.
No, don't do that.
Oh, really?
No. You're already married. Yeah. No.
All right.
Listen, the only ship won't sail is a partnership. The number of small business partnerships that survive 1 decade is very close to zero. Almost none of them do. We work with entree leadership businesses, tens of thousands of them, and have for decades all across America. And one of the biggest problems they have is a stinking partnership that's gone sideways. Now, the exception is medical partnerships and law partnerships, but they're structured differently anyway. It's a whole different setup. Right. But 2 guys opening a real estate company, 2 guys opening up a heat and air company, 2 women opening up a nail salon. This is no. You don't need a partner. Okay, so what I'm going to tell you is scary for me to tell you because I believe in getting after it when you're young and you're an ambitious and smart young guy, and I hate to tell you not to do something, but while you another 18 months is going to give you a lot of information about life.
A lot of perspective, especially if it's your first baby too. Yeah. There's just a lot of change.
Let the baby get born. Let's get past some of this rough patch in the real estate. Let's see what's going on. You save up. You open up with your money. Doesn't cost that much to open up a brokerage firm. If you open it up when you're 25 instead of you're 22, you're going to be just fine. And
a little patience.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good for you. Look, I love real estate, and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. You jump in, we'll talk about your life and your money. Thank you for joining us. Joanna is with us in Montana. Hi, Joanna. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi. Nice to be here.
Good to have you. How can we help?
Yeah, so I want to build a home on my land, but I'm wondering if going with a construction loan is a good idea, especially since I have no credit because we're debt-free.
Okay. What's your income?
Yeah, it's around $90K,
Okay.
and that's my husband. I work at home.
Mm-hmm. What's he do?
Software. He's a full-stack developer.
Okay, great. Very
Do you guys have any money saved, Joanna?
So we have 3 months worth of money saved. We had a rough year last year, so it kind of depleted. We had 6 months, and then now we just brought it back up to 3 after having a rough year.
What's a rough year? What happened?
He lost his job for a whole year,
Mm-hmm.
which was kind of really unexpected.
Does he do contract work?
No. He had a regular work as his salary.
Mm-hmm. Does he work from home?
He didn't at the time, but now he does.
Okay. And where are you all living now? You living on the land or what?
No, we found a temporary place. So we bought a mobile house, gutted, because it was hard to find rent, and renting was expensive. And so my husband fixed up the whole thing while he wasn't working. And so now that's the reason why we're debt free, because now we're living in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath mobile house.
Mm-hmm.
And
is that on your farm?
We're just renting the lot. Nope, we're renting the lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, we weren't able to move it to our land.
Okay, what are you gonna spend on the house you're building?
We were thinking around $300K,
Mm-hmm.
and we're thinking, at about 1,500 square feet. Not a huge house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
But yeah, with materials, everyone's telling us that it'll be more expensive.
Okay. In order to get a construction loan, you would need a blueprint that has been appraised by an appraiser. The bank that you're getting the construction loan, mortgage company you're getting the construction loan can help you with that. And you will have to have a contractor building the property, building the house. Okay? They don't loan money to people who just think they might want to build a house. and have never done it before. Okay, so a licensed contractor, a blueprint, an appraisal, very detailed financial package, and then you would qualify at your local credit union or bank for a construction loan, even if you don't have a credit score. If you've got a steady job, you've got this piece of property that's paid for. What's the property worth?
More than $100K.
Yeah. Okay. So you got effectively a 25% down payment. In other words, you'd have a $400,000 deal if you put a $300,000 house on a $100,000 piece of ground, right?
Yeah.
And that'd be a 25% equity position from day one. So they'll take a lien against your farm, and then they will dole out the money to the contractor on a schedule, construction draw schedule, based on completion points as the house goes up. When the house is completed, you would get a permanent regular mortgage that pays off the construction loan. That's called the takeout loan, and you will need to rearrange. Again, the mortgage company or the bank that'll help you with this, they'll probably help you get your permanent loan as well, because you have to have what's called a takeout letter. How are you going to take out this construction loan? And you're going to take it out with a new permanent regular mortgage. All of that lines up as dominoes, and you can build now. How long is it going to take you to save $300,000 if you don't? Quite a few years.
Yeah.
I mean, if you save 50 a year out of 90, it's going to take you 6 years.
Yeah, it's true.
So that's the numbers that are running through my head. Now, if you take that out and you get out a permanent construction loan, and then you viciously attack that permanent mortgage after you move in, and you pay it off in 5 or 6 years, that'd be wonderful, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
As long as he's making 90 or more, and if he's in tech world, he should be able to continue to do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Rachel went through building a house. It wasn't using a construction loan a while back, but it is a detailed process. It's not something you just walk into and go, oh, I want to put a house over there.
Yeah, no, there's a work. Yeah, you'll have a part-time job, Joanna, in that process, but it's fun, but it's great. Yeah, and I think it's exciting for you guys, and with the numbers and everything, you guys have worked hard to be debt-free and to be in the position you are, and so yeah, making the step forward, I think is great.
Okay, so does that mean you guys think it's a good time to build right now? Because
not now, but you're not ready. You don't have a blueprint. You don't have a contractor. You don't have an appraisal. You don't have any of this lined up. I mean, you're gonna break ground in next spring. Maybe in the fall, but I would probably wait till spring and let some of these lumber prices and other things continue to calm down. Lumber's back down, but some of the other stuff's not. Labor, there's a serious shortage on still in most areas.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, but you got a lot of work to do to get ready to break ground in the spring.
Yeah. Well, how do you know what order to do all these things in? Like, I did call a contractor.
Then they can help you start walking through that. Get in touch with Churchill Mortgage and see if they can do a loan there in Montana. If they can't, find your local credit union. Talk to them about a construction loan and a permanent mortgage. They'll help you get the appraisal. Contractor can help you get the blueprint. But you're going to have all of that. You can't just say, I think $1,500 and I think that's $3,000. That's what I heard it costs. That doesn't work for getting a loan. They're not going to loan that person money that does that. You got to have like airtight business case for this whole process, whether you've got a credit score or not. You've got to do all of that.
And the land helps her in that case because she owns it. But for a lot of people,
and 100% debt free helps her.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. But a lot of people that want to build don't have land to build on.
You have to roll the land into the deal.
Yep.
And then that becomes harder. Now you're talking about a down payment issue.
Right.
When you do all that, and that rolls in as well. So
that is a question I've been getting well, at least on social media, on Instagram, is for the new construction home buying, is it a smart time to build a house? There's a lot of people asking that.
I'm probably going to build one next spring, but I'm not going to.
You are?
Yeah, but not today. Yeah.
I was going to ask you where. I won't ask you on the air.
Well, I hadn't figured that part out yet.
I didn't know.
But well, I mean, we moved out of the big house,
Yeah.
and we're living in a nice home. But we had planned to build when we moved.
Yeah, I knew that. I
But
just
in the
didn't know
middle
y'all
of
had
in the middle of all this craziness, we're not gonna.
I didn't realize I thought y'all were going to take like 3 years just to like do nothing. Of course you're not.
Just announce it to you right here on the air. So there you go.
Yeah.
But the anyway.
That's exciting. Good for you
But
and Mom.
the point is, lumber has stabilized. I think labor will smooth out by spring. There's still a labor shortage in general on construction. So construction's a little bit wonky still, and I think it's going to be for a little while longer. But I think most of the supply chain crap will be behind us and that stuff, and I think we'll have a more normalized environment.
Yes.
And I kind of think the economy is going to be a little slower. And so builders are not going to be quite so snooty about like they're doing you a freaking favor or something, which is the way they act right now. Or particularly acted 6 months ago.
Because they can.
Yeah.
Because
they can. Like 6 months ago, they're doing you a favor or something. And I don't need them doing me a favor. I need them building a house.
Oh, we know that, Dave. We know that.
Oh, my goodness. This is The Ramsey Show. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Jake's in Canada. Hi, Jake. How are you?
Hey, Dave. Pleasure to talk to you. I never thought I'd be able to actually communicate with you, but it's a blessing.
Well, we're honored. How can we help you?
So a little bit of a backstory. I got married at a pretty young age. Life was good. We're doing the 5 baby steps. We managed to pay off a lot of debt, and then got a 3 to 6 months of an emergency fund sitting. And so a year and a half ago, we were blessed with a little baby boy. And so now, our marriage started getting really rocky. It was we had a hard time. And so now my wife, she's saying how she doesn't want to be together anymore. She doesn't love me anymore. She's talking to somebody else. In the middle of the night, I'll hear her on the phone with another person, and I just don't know what to do with that. And she wants to basically live at home still, in the same house, and so that she could raise our son. But it's a very difficult place for me to be in. So I just need some advice on that.
I'm sorry. How old are you?
24.
Okay. Dude, you don't deserve this.
No, it takes two to break a relationship, right? I'm not blaming her on it all, 100%, but it's I wanted to make things work. We were seeing a marriage counselor and everything, and for a while there, I thought things were going good, and then about 3 weeks ago, she said she was done, she was completely done, and then a couple days later, she was talking with somebody else already. So it's a tough situation.
And how old's the baby?
He's a year and a half.
Year and a half. Oh, Jake, I'm so sorry. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, what do you do?
Well, yeah, in this case, if she's in a sense, having an emotional affair, and she's, talking to people and all of that, I'm she's breaking her vows that she made with you, and choosing not to walk down a path that you guys can have healing and move past this. And so sure, no one's perfect in a marriage, but she's making these decisions consciously to go against everything that you guys had in your marriage. And so, yeah, I mean, what Dave said earlier, but I'm like, at that point, like she doesn't get a lot of votes right now in your life, in my opinion.
Yeah. So like,
okay. So let me back up and just address your initial question. Okay. If you guys can work this out and be married, and with a marriage counselor walk through this patch, and she can set the phone down and devote her life to you, you can set your issues down and devote your life to her. That's great, and I hope that's what can happen. If she actually wants a divorce, you can't stop her. It's her. You can't make other people do things. Okay,
yeah.
I can't make my wife do anything. Believe me, we're married 40 years. I can't make her do anything.
Exactly.
And she really can't make me do anything either. In all fairness, okay, we all make decisions as individual adults. Okay, so you can't make people do what you want to do. But what you can decide is what's right for you, based on the decisions they're making. And and you know, when you say out loud, we're going to get a divorce and live in the same house and be roommates, that's just strange, weird, and dumb. You know, when you say that out loud, that it is all of those things, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like it's heartbreaking.
Not even a possibility. Okay, if we're going to go through a divorce, that means we're not going to be married and we're going to have separate lives. No, we're not living in the same house. That's asinine.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So she doesn't want to leave, Jake? Is that this?
He said she wants to stay in the house with him.
She wants to be in the house with you, or she just wants the house?
No, she wants to, because she doesn't have a degree in anything. And for her to, right now, like the way the market is right now, for even renting a home would be super hard for her. So she basically wants to just live there. And she does not want to go back to work because she wants to raise our son. Which, it would be better for him, I agree.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. He does not need to be raised by divorced parents living in the same house together. That's so freaking weird. It's psychologically damaging to your son. No.
Yeah.
No, that's not better for your son. This poor girl, she is so screwed up. I don't want to work and earn money, but I don't want to be married. Well, darling, you get to choose one or the other. It's not the way this is going to work out. Yeah. So, I think if we're going to get a divorce, that she's going to have to go get an apartment. You guys are going to sell the house, and you're going to go get an apartment.
Okay.
No, you're not going to live together.
All right.
I mean, does that make? I mean, you knew that, right?
Yeah, I did. And I just I didn't want to be the guy to just decide something, and for it to not work out in the end. So that's why I figured.
Well, if you guys staying in the same house involves healing your marriage, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
But not work out there's nothing where you divorce and live in the same house together that works out in the end. You are a highly unattractive single guy at this point. That you live in a house with your ex, because it has a big arrow above your head that says "stupid." Okay.
Oh my gosh, Dave.
No, really,
Jake
that would not. You don't want to do this. You don't want to do this.
No,
man.
I know you don't. No, but
No.
And he seems like such a kind,
he's a sweet guy.
person.
He's a sweet guy.
So to have the conversation with her, Jake, is that she's doing this. Like that's my thing. You're not the one putting her out on the street and not letting her be home with her child. She's making decisions about her life that is now choosing to isolate herself because she's chosen to go against her vows to her husband. So and you're probably not perfect. I'm not saying that, but man, it is. You reap what you sow, and there's a level of consequences that she has to face because she's making big girl decisions, and now she's about to get some big girl results, and she's got to deal with that. It's unfair to you to be the brunt of all of it.
And she calls me mean.
That was very kind. But man, it's just unfair to you, Jake. I feel for you.
Jake,
where I'm
you don't
because you're a
deserve
person. Even the way you're asking the question, you're so nice.
No, I'm not
so
sure.
There's a
We're pretty sure you're not perfect, but you are a nice guy, and you don't deserve this. So no, we're going to set up a normal process that says you have a future. away from her if she doesn't want to be with you. She has a future away from you because she doesn't want to be with you. We can't, and then you can move on with your life and she can move on with her life. And we've got this connection with this 1.5-year-old.
And this is all the caveat that for some reason, if there's an issue, that she's running from the marriage to all these other relationships that you guys in counseling and therapy can work through and build a stronger marriage. That's our number one, right? Number one is that you guys can heal this over time.
But divorced and living in the same house is not on the agenda.
Yes.
Okay? It's not on the agenda. We're just taking that off the table. Let's just be real clear, if we hadn't already been. The way you can look at some of these things sometimes when you're in a fog on the decision-making, folks, whether it's something deeply relational like that, where your brain just shuts down because the stress level's so high, and you really can't see clear. The way you can get clarity when you're overwhelmed with that kind of stuff is just project it out 10 years. Okay, 10 years after moving in with your ex and living in the same house, how's that working out for you?
Yeah,
it's
and I think
not.
And he probably knows that, but following through with that decision means confrontation with her, making her move, or he's moving, and do you know what I'm saying? Following through with the repercussions of that decision is messy, and so entering into that probably sounds exhausting for you, Jake.
Not his decision, though, it's hers. I mean, she made the decision.
Yeah, yes,
so
yes.
That's what we're facing.
But his decision of not living in the house with her once they're divorced, which is the right decision, by the way.
Instantaneous, yeah. Doesn't take 30 seconds to make that one. Not 3 seconds to make that one. Sorry you're going through this, young man. I hope it works out. Doesn't sound like it's going to. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. Dave here. You can find all of our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. It's the only place to listen to the entire back catalog of episodes. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. We help people build wealth, do work they love, and create actual amazing relationships. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today. The phone number here is 888-825-5225. David and Carolyn in Tacoma, Washington are on the line. It says on my screen you guys are debt-free. Way to go!
Oh, yeah, Dave. It's been a great journey. It all started in 2015. We did our debt-free scream in 2017 for consumer debt, and now we're paying off our house.
I love it. Whoop, 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 whoop. How much have you paid off totally?
Well, the first time it was $82,000, the consumer debt, and then our house was $172,000.
Okay, I'm going with the 172 figure. How long did it take to do that?
That took us 4.5 years.
There you go. And your range of income during that time?
We started at about 117, and we finished this last year at 205,000.
Excellent. Wow. What do you guys do for a living?
I do land development. Shout out to my company, Hosford Construction. They really helped me pay off that last big lump.
There you go.
And I just retired from the state. I'm a compliance unit manager for the state of Washington, but I'm just retired in the month of July. So it's a perfect timing, Dave.
Yeah, way to go, guys.
That's an exciting month, David. Paying off the house, retiring, all of it. That's great.
That's very cool.
It was because we paid it off in May, and I retired at the end of June. So the timing was perfect and makes it a little bit easier to retire.
Amen. Well, Tacoma's a great market. What's that house worth?
We figure about 450,000.
Phenomenal. How much you guys got in retirement savings?
Probably with my pension, probably around 500,000. But Carolyn's 8 years younger than me. She's still working.
Okay.
So that's my retirement plan for a while. Anyway.
Thanks.
Oh, whoa.
I'm married up, Dave.
Whoa, I'm not sure you're going to be there. That's great, man. So you're millionaires. You did it. Your baby steps millionaires.
We're getting there.
Yeah, you're right at it. Way to go, guys. Congratulations. Well, tell us the story. What started this journey, and how'd you get tied into this Ramsey stuff?
Well, in 2015, we took FPU at the church, and so that took us 28 months to pay $82,000 off, and then in 2017, after we paid that off, we decided that we wanted to pay off our house, and we slowly did it. And of course, this last year our income increased a lot, and that really helped us a lot. And really, the biggest thing for us is our kids are listening. We tithe through the whole thing, Dave. We put God first, and He rewarded us.
Yeah. Wow. Very cool. Very cool. What church are you in?
Grace Point Northwest in Enumclaw,
Wonderful.
Washington.
Yeah, wonderful. Very cool. Well, way to go, guys.
Congratulations, you guys. So how did it feel, this past July where you didn't have a mortgage payment?
Oh, it's just crazy. It just gives you, Rachel just gives you so much freedom. I think it's really, to me, it's really that debt is a distraction. The devil does all kinds of things to mess with your family and your goals and what God's plans are for your life. And that debt was really a distraction to us. And I know it is to a lot of marriages and families. And we just really feel like now we're ready to take on that next step, which is what is God planned for us next? And all of the choices and the freedom that we have to do that is just such a blessing.
Incredible. Oh, incredible, you guys. I just think that's such an amazing, not only accomplishment, but even the season of life that you guys are entering. With David, you retiring, all of it. I'm like, there's just freedom and margin and options that you guys have that's coming up. So I'm impressed, very impressed, and congratulations.
Very proud of you guys. Very, very well done. Great, great job. We got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires for you, my latest #1 bestseller, How Ordinary People Built Extraordinary Wealth, How You Can Too. You're there. And so you can read about essentially who you are, because that's you. And we got a copy of Total Money Makeover for you to give away and maybe get someone else's journey, and a 1-year membership to Financial Peace University. The brand new videos are out, the best class we've ever done. And you can send someone through it because it's what got your journey started. And so give you plenty of things to give away, a couple things to read for yourself. So beautiful. Well done, you guys. Well done, well done. Who are your biggest cheerleaders?
Oh, probably our kids.
Yeah.
They watched from afar, but they were there, and we would give them little tune-ups every once in a while to tell them where we were. And of course, our church. We had people in our church that, because we did Financial Peace, about 7 classes before COVID hit, and we haven't done it since.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we need to get started again. Way to go, man. Good job. Good stuff. So are your kids following in the stuff?
I would say they're doing Ramsey-ish, Dave. They hear what we're saying, and they're doing things now like saying, "Mom, we paid cash for that." I'm like, good job.
Well, they feel the need to explain. That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Good. Well, way to go, you two. All right, it's David and Carolyn, Tacoma, Washington. $172,000 paid off in the second stage as they paid off their house in 4.5 years, making $117,000 to $205,000. It took them 28 months to pay off the first $82,000 in consumer debt. So that's a fairly normal, a little bit shorter than normal timeline that they've been on. Very, very, very well done. David and Carolyn, count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
1, 2, 3. We're debt free!
That's how it's done, boys and girls. Man, I love it. I love it. They are set up. That was an interesting comment I haven't heard many times before, that is a distraction.
It's a distraction. Keeps your eyes all the other places.
It keeps your eyes off of things that should be on. Instead, you're having to deal with this crap.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a distraction. I mean, illness is a distraction, right? There's lots of things that distract us from things that are the long-term play, that are the vision, those kinds of things.
To allow you just to be in the present, too.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't be where you're supposed to be.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. Very, very, very insightful, Carolyn. Very good. Good stuff. This is The Ramsey Show. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author. My daughter is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Well, when it comes to real estate, everyone has questions, theories, and there's a lot of feelings out there about real estate. Rachel and George and I have spent the morning going over the material with our team, getting ready to do a huge live stream. It looks like there's going to be well over 100,000 of you viewing it tomorrow night. For most of you listening, it's going to be the 14th of July, Thursday evening, 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern. It is completely free to watch. It'll be about an hour long, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less, somewhere in there. But we're going to cover the actual data of what is going on in the housing market, not your feelings. We're going to address your feelings because a lot of you have a lot of feelings about this. But the Real Estate Reality Check live stream, completely free, completely free. We want you to join us, and we're going to help you because there's a lot of anger and fear and angst and everything else out there about this. And anytime we run into that, then we know folks are potentially getting ready to make mistakes, and we want to keep you from having to do that. We don't want you calling in and going, oh, you know, back in 22, I made this huge mistake. And, you know, I don't want you to do that. So we're going to help you. That's what we want to do. Go to RamseySolutions.com/reality-check. Get your free registration so you can watch tomorrow night free, and we'll be able to do that straight up for you. We'll send you a link, and boom, you'll be on. Rachel, I'm excited about this material. I think it's solid.
No, I think it's going to be a great event too, because the way we structured it is giving people what they need most, which in this point, it's facts. You need to know exactly why the real estate market is the way it is, what's happening today versus what happened in 2008. You want to look at supply and demand and inventory and buyers and population. I mean, there's a lot out there, a lot of facts that determine the real estate market. And so learning that and going through it is really important. So we wanted to do that side, kind of that education piece, but then also address what the average American's thinking and feeling, whether you're wanting to buy or sell or nothing. You're just hearing the news and you're looking at social media and everyone's opinion of what's going to happen and is the world coming to an end. And it can be scary if you go down a black hole of some of these things, which I may or may not have in my lifetime. You do start to think, oh my gosh.
But I'm also intrigued by some of the things we've learned just in preparing for this.
Yeah.
Like, you know, one of the graphs we were looking at this morning, and we'll show it tomorrow night again, that 4 states have had almost 1 million people leave them in the last just under a year. And they all went to about 8 states or 6 states.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was very interesting to me. That these political decisions around COVID and around taxes and around violence and protests and those kinds of things are driving migration. And so you're seeing the states they're moving to. You've got like Californians moving to Tennessee in record numbers. We live in Tennessee, and it's almost a joke now how many California.
Well, California, we just read a report that they've had actually was it negative growth for the first time
in history.
55. Okay, yeah, 55
since they've been
years.
keeping records.
Yeah,
yeah. California went down in population for the first time since we've been keeping records.
Pretty wild. But that affects it, right? Because if you're here in Nashville, we were just kind of a pretty normal city, I feel like.
And all of a sudden, we've got this huge influx of extra buyers.
With all this money, because they sell their homes in California, and they come here, and you're like, holy crap.
And they're overpaying.
Wait, what? Yeah. You had that much money?
Nashvillians got greedy, too. It was funny. It's like, oh, we got a California sucker fish. Let's just suck, let's get that. And they, add an extra $300,000 to the house price, and boom. And they pay it.
And that happened in Florida, Texas. I mean, yeah, we have all the data to show it. But it's just, it's wild how, though, yes, there's so much that affects the real estate market, and including that kind of stuff. Like you watch.
It was just interesting.
Yeah, geographically, how things are shifting, and depending on the state you live in, the market you live in.
The other one that was intriguing that I kind of suspected, but I was a little bit shocked, was the investor dollars. A huge number of institutional investors buying houses. And so it's like 28% of the houses sold last year, which is crazy. And it's kind of sad. But they have.
And this is not investors like, oh, I'm going to go buy a piece of real estate investment.
It's not like a single person in your neighborhood that just wants to go buy a house. That's not. These are institutional, big blocks of money coming in and swooping up houses left and right. So it's kind of not good in that regard. But what's interesting is the cities that have had the violence and the lawlessness running amok, the investors are abandoning them. They're having like 2% of the houses selling in Seattle or in Portland or in Minneapolis are investors, okay, versus like Nashville is 30%, okay, and so the
Charlotte, North Carolina,
huge. Jacksonville, Florida, huge.
I know, but that's where but all the investors, I don't know.
It's not. Well, it's a mixed bag, okay, but it is interesting that the investors are staying away from cities where there's an overabundance of COVID rules and or violence in the streets. They're staying away from them, and so they're ruining the economy in a sense. Now, again, I'm not a huge fan of investors coming and swooping up, institutional investors buying blocks of houses and taking them off the market. I'm not a fan of that. That's not the point. But it is an indicator of what happens when the point is this politics and social policy and whatever you want to bucket this stuff in has economic consequences.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of
economic
consequences. A lot of factors.
I don't know what the other consequences would be. I don't know what the other factors would be. That's it. I mean, that's the only distinguishing thing between Portland, Oregon,
taxes,
and Dallas,
socially,
Texas.
There's schools. I mean, there's a whole list of stuff I think that go into it too.
Yeah.
But anyways, for the average person though, listening and watching, the point of the event for us was to give instruction, education,
and actual data
of what's going on, and to just simmer down the fear and the panic that this is going to be like 2008, because the data is showing it's just not the way the supply and the demand work. Like there is still a low level of supply with houses and still a high demand of buyers, and so looking at those data points is really, really key and really important, and it inserts again a level of like, take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. Because when you start to fear and panic and freak out and go down your black hole of conspiracies, which I may or may not have done, you're like, oh my gosh, should I be? What am I doing?
We're going to be okay.
I need to move off the grid. I'm going to Montana. You're never going to find me again.
Now, Montana's not a bad place to go. That's a great place.
I know. I might end up there.
I love it.
If what I've read comes true.
Let me tell you what, we were just in Big Sky. The economy there's booming. Whew, man, they're building stuff left and right. It's crazy. Hotels and houses coming out of the ground like crazy. It's a wonderful market. So, but yeah, Montana's good people. I'm just saying.
I know, but I may be with them soon.
I don't know why you picked Montana.
Because it just feels like I could be off the grid.
Well, yeah, you could. There's not as many people there, that's for sure.
Or North Dakota.
North Dakota, yeah, for sure. Not as many people there. South Dakota, yeah, okay. If that's what you're after, you can find it there. Yeah, lots of prairie dogs, no people. That's it. So anyway, open phones here. We're talking to you about your life and your money, but jump on RamseySolutions.com and plan to watch the live stream tomorrow night. We're giving you a little bit of a sneak peek there with a couple things, but it's always good for us as personalities, our content team, our production team, everybody else, to study some of these things more in depth and, test our theories, our hypothesis against the actual data. And is there actual data there to support what we believe? If not, do we need to shift why we're doing that and so forth?
Because because in the past, because I'm just looking on social too, on posts you've done on Instagram and stuff, and people are like, you're so wrong, Dave, you're so wrong. It is going to crash. But you predicted inflation this time last year. But you said on another show you did not predict the recession in 2008.
Matter of fact, I was very strong that it was not going to happen.
Okay,
wrong.
So did you just not see the real estate market go? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, what did you miss that you're confirmed that you're not missing here?
Well, what happened there was I did not anticipate, nor did I believe, that the mortgage-backed securities and the hedge funds had screwed up the market with the subprimes as much as they had.
They did, yeah.
It was a lot bigger problem than I realized at the time, and that's just simply not there now.
Right.
That's not even a factor in this discussion. So, yeah, I missed that one. But so much of economics is self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe it, you act on it, and you cause it to become true. And you got to be careful with that, with predictions of negative things in the economy. This is The Ramsey Show. Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author. My daughter is my co-host today. Mark is with us in Nashville. Hey, Mark, how are you?
Good. How are you, Dave?
Better than we deserve, man. Thank you. What's up?
Hey, so we've been listening. Me and my wife have been listening to your show for the past 6 years, and we're able to pay off all our student loan debt and follow the baby steps. And we kind of got off the beaten path a little bit recently, and we bought a piece of land. We live in the Nashville area, and we're kind of facing this decision now. We want to be completely debt-free, and if we sell our house and rent, we'd like to build a property on, or build a house on this piece of land in the next 3 to 4 years. We'd be able to pay off the rest of the land and be completely debt-free, and actually be able to save a little bit more money per month while renting. And we were just kind of wondering if that was a smart idea, or I know there's just so much going on with the real estate market in Nashville. We're just not sure what to do. I have a really good income. So we'll be able to save a lot of money in the next few years.
Good. What's your income?
Anywhere from $230 to $250.
Excellent. Very, very good. Okay. What's your house payment?
Like $900 a month.
No, you don't sell your house. You can't rent cheaper than that.
Well, we have to pay money on the land as well. So
yeah, but you got to pay money on the land if you sell the house and rent.
Right, but we would be able to pay off the balance of the land if we sold our house.
Oh, you'd take the equity out of the house and do that. Okay, so what do you owe on the land?
Yeah. We owe about $260,000.
And what do you owe on your house?
About $200,000.
Okay.
What could you sell the house for?
About $500,000.
Okay. I would just sit right there, dude. I'd sit right there and I would plow through this land as hard, I'd throw money at this land hand over fist and get it paid off, and then start talking about building a house on that land.
Okay. I guess we just feel like, in the next 3 to 4 years, like if we sold our house, it would take a lot of risk out of everything.
If you want to sell it, okay? You don't need me to do that, okay? But
Right.
But you got to live somewhere, and you have a $900 house payment on a house that's going up in value while you're pulling off all these other tricks, and you're abandoning both of those good things to go ahead and get the land paid off. And that's what I wouldn't do.
Okay.
But you can do whatever you want to do. It's obvious you make a lot of money. You're doing great. None of these things are in the stupid column. It's just a matter of which one's going to be the fastest, most expedient. But I mean, you priced rent in Nashville, right?
Yeah, we in the area that we're looking for the same size house would be about $2,500 a month.
Yeah.
And I make about $20,000 a month.
I know. What you make a month is the static piece of information in either one of these scenarios. But the two things, what we're comparing against is $900 a month that goes up in value, or $2,500 a month in the middle of the table on fire.
Yeah.
Y'all just want out of debt. Is your motivation, Mark, for asking the question because you guys just want to pay everything off and it just feels better, and then you're renting? Like, is that what you guys are feeling, both of you?
I guess it just feels more simple, and it just because I know that like you say that the housing prices are supposed to go up, but there's a chance also that they could go down, and I just feel like
if you're going to sell, you want to sell now.
I think you're making a mistake because you really do think house prices are going to go down, and I think you're wrong.
Especially in Nashville, Mark.
Right.
I think you're wrong.
Yeah.
I think you've been hanging out with the wrong people at the bar.
Oh my gosh.
And they're all talking. They're all talking.
I don't know.
They're all talking
trash.
I
want to hear. Let's hear Mark.
Your friends are all talking trash, man.
I want to hear, Mark, what you have to say. I really do, because I hear the same thing. So go.
For our specific scenario, in the next 3-4 years, how much our house is really going to go up, and is that worth the risk of keeping it for that long? And
what's causing you, Mark, to think that what's causing you, Mark, to think that your house price is going to go down here in Nashville? Why do you think that?
I don't know that it's going to go down, but I don't know that the amount that it'll go up.
But why? Why are you coming to these conclusions? Give me data. Give me reason.
Because the price of our house has more than doubled in the past 6 years, and I don't see that amount of increase, the percentage of increase. I think it may increase, but I don't know if that increase over 3 to 4 years is going to be worth the risk of us keeping the house versus being out of debt.
The
completely.
Risk of the debt on the land?
Yeah, say debt on our house and the land. Like if something happened to my job or something in the next 3 to 4 years, it would be pretty. I don't know.
You could sell either one or both of these properties.
Yeah. I guess I just worry about if the demand if there's still going to be the demand.
At the core of all of this back and forth in your verbal is you are really worried that house prices are going to go down. You really do believe there's a high probability they're going to go down, and that's at the core of your question, and that's why I think you're wrong. Okay? Now, you can do what you want to do. There's no real downside except a little bit of lost money on you selling your house today. So sell it today and go pay off your land and go rent. But then go back and look when you finish this transaction 3 years from now and see what that house that you sold did. And then we can determine if I was right or not. But, And
Mark, let me say this though, because the market is softening, it is making people be like, oh wow. So yes, houses are going back to what they actually are valued at and what appraisal is coming in at.
Not some bidding war.
Yes, versus in Nashville, we all knew this, 9 months ago, someone here at the office, they got 56 offers over a weekend. And it was 200 over asking price. You hear the craziest stories. You're not going to have that anymore. So
I don't think that's going to happen.
But that doesn't mean that the value of your home is going to tank, because supply is not going to catch up with demands here in the near future. And I honestly do think that there are still these areas around the country. We talked about this last segment.
Assurant has 25,000 employees in downtown Nashville. Amazon has 25,000 employees in downtown Nashville.
In the healthcare industry in Nashville.
That's just 2 companies. You can't beg a house in Nashville right now. because these huge corporations have moved in here and made it their headquarters, okay? And they're moving out of New York, they're moving out of California, and they're moving in here and setting up shop because we're a tax-free, income tax-free state.
But again, if you were Houston, Mark, if you were, another place, maybe we could have another discussion.
You're not in a market that's going to crash, dude. Now, again, if you want to do this, the only thing you've lost is whatever you didn't make on your house. And so it's not a huge, there's nothing here in the stupid column. But what I want to teach you and people listening is when you make decisions based on feelings instead of real data, on negative feelings, fear, it almost never leads to good financial consequences. And so at the core of your concern, at the core of your question, is a false assumption that real estate in Nashville, Tennessee is going to go down in the next 2 years. It's not. It's not. If it does, call me and I'll buy your house. It's not. Okay? Seriously. But now, if you just want the peace of mind,
go to the bar that Mark is hanging out with and tell all the friends I was wrong. I'll buy y'all.
No, I'm not buying everybody in the bar's house. I'm not buying around. I'm just buying his. But it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Okay? So, you're okay. You're okay. But if you want to sell it, it's also okay. You're not dumb for being 100% debt-free. You're not dumb. But I just don't want you to make decisions based on fear and feelings rather than data. Our scripture of the day, Proverbs 4:25-26. Let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze directly before you. Give careful thought to the paths for your feet and be steadfast in all your ways. Ross Perot said, the most successful people in the world aren't usually the brightest. They are the ones who persevere.
Stop. Unbelievable.
You guys are so bad.
Okay.
I have all these charts and graphs for the real estate event for tomorrow night. We were going through the rehearsal stuff this morning. I said, this is just like Ross Perot. And she said, you mean Bob Ross?
No.
What was it you said?
I said, yeah, I was like, well, all your graphs, Dave, you've got so many graphs for this event. And he was like, I know, I'm like Ross Perot. You probably don't even know who he is. I was like, yes, I watched him all the time on PBS, painting his hair. And everyone was like, that's Bob Ross.
Poor Bob Ross. He just got insulted being called Ross Perot. So we get a Ross Perot
freaking quote from Ross Perot.
Well, these guys in the booth,
they're unbelievable.
They're
the most successful people in the world aren't usually the brightest.
I heard the story right before the show. I couldn't resist.
Whatever. Jeez.
That is awesome.
Jeez. I thought charts, art.
So, Rachel,
Bob.
a little history lesson.
I know who was. I know.
Perot was running against Bush, and he would always get up with these he was running as an independent, and he actually caused Bush to get beat. Okay, he took his votes, and he would get up there and he'd go, this is the graph, and he would do this whole thing, and it was this horrible nasal voice, and it was running for president, and he always had charts and graphs. He was not a painter. So.
I know.
No, you don't. You were a child.
I know politics. I do. I know the history in like the 80s and 90s of politics. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Oh, man.
Ross Perot, the painter. There we go. Hey, by the way, folks, we are doing that real estate reality check tomorrow night. It is a live stream. It's free. We're doing 4 building wealth events in the fall in your cities, and that includes Phoenix, Arizona, which I just got an email at the break, sold out. Phoenix is sold out. So those of you who didn't get your tickets for Phoenix, we'll catch you next time. And, be ready, be watching, be listening. So sold out. And completely sold out. Maybe we'll talk them into opening up another night or something, but it's gone. And Sacramento is almost sold out. Can't think of the other cities off the top of my head, but they're all right on the verge of selling out for the fall here. You need to go ahead and get those tickets. Those are not free. The event tomorrow night, you go to RamseySolutions.com and register for the Real Estate Reality Check, is completely free. It is live streamed. Okay, Marco is with us in L.A. Hey, Marco, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave, how you doing, man? What an honor. Seriously, how are you guys?
Better than we deserve, sir. How can we help you?
All right. So, Dave, my question today for you is, so I'm 21 years old. I'm going back to school in the fall, and I've got 2 years done under my belt. I was out of school for a little over a year, just trying to decide what I wanted to do. Did some internships, lived in Florida for a little bit, came back. So basically, going back to school to finish my undergrad in business, decided I want to do that, kind of build a little bit of a career out of it. And also, but my end goal is to go back to get my master's in theology. So being a pastor, planting a church would be definitely, what truly I believe God has called me to do. But here is my question. So I'm a first gen. So going back to college is a huge, huge deal. My parents supportive in everything that I've done. But here's the thing. Like I said, my parents I'm a first gen, so that makes my parents South American immigrants. And so the financial decisions that they've made when they first came here weren't always the best. I grew up in, we've had to suffer, we've had to sacrifice a lot, but we're not where we used to be, and I know we're headed to a better place. With that being said, that's kind of wired me to think 10 years ahead. So I'm enrolled out of school, Biola University here in LA, and I've gotten the final numbers of how much it's going to cost me.
How much?
It's money that
How much?
It's $13,600 for one semester.
That's a little high.
It is. It's very high, and that's one semester. So that's just fall of 2022. And so I'm not even sure what spring of 2022 is going to look like.
Yeah, I'm not mad at Viola, but you need to go somewhere you can afford. You don't have any money, right?
Absolutely.
Wrong school.
I'm not sure if it's worth.
It's not.
I'm not sure if it's worth taking out.
No.
The amount. I'll be after 2 years of college. I'll be maybe in 50K in debt, and that's maybe like a base pay of a business degree. Coming fresh out of college, that's maybe like the base pay of a salary. So I'm not sure if it's worth being the same amount of debt with the same amount of income I'll be making in a year.
No, it's not. Not when you could have gotten the degree cheaper and worked your way through and had no debt.
Right.
You just chose the wrong school. You chose a school you can't afford.
I haven't taken out any loans yet.
Good.
I haven't made any payments.
Good. So change schools.
So, okay.
If Viola won't give you scholarships, and they probably won't, they may not. If you qualify for scholarships based on the immigrant status of your parents or something like that, that'd be awesome. But dude, California has free community college.
Right. Yeah. I'm currently doing some classes online through for the summer right now, just to kind of get back into the rhythm of doing school again. Yeah. But if
I were in your shoes, I would work 50 to 60 hours a week, and I would go to a school I could afford and pay cash for.
Right.
I did that, by the way.
And get all your prereqs done, Marco, if you can, at a community college that's free in California, and then seeing, okay, what credits transfer, and maybe you just spend 2 semesters at a different university versus 2 years. If you want a diploma from a different university, then you can do that if the credits transfer.
Go see the guidance counselor at Viola and tell them you're getting ready to withdraw if you can't figure out some scholarships. And we've got the immigrant status of your parents on your side. We've got the fact that you're an adult student coming back on your side. There's a lot of different programs out there for all kinds of people, and see if they won't belly up and help you here. If they cut that in half, you can afford to pay cash for it and
Marco,
work your butt off.
If your ultimate goal, too, is to get a degree
in business.
Eventually theology.
Mm-hmm.
What's causing you not
Masters
just to go down?
Eventually, yeah.
Is that just like a far off dream in the way future, or is that something that you could just pursue now and skip the business degree if that's what you want?
I've thought a lot about it. I've talked to pastors of mine. I've talked to financial advisors that are also friends of mine and everything. And I'd love to be able to build an income outside of the church, to be able to have something more so kind of like a either whether that be a passive income or something that I can do so I don't have to take a salary from the church. That would be a goal, of course. Not always like that, but just to do things a little bit differently.
Yeah, I hear that.
Very cool. What I want you to do is I want you to look at a lot of hard work, look at some scholarships, and look at affordability of where you're going to school, and go get your degree in a way that you can pay cash for it. Between those three things.
And even if that means pausing another semester.
And that's what I would do if I were in your shoes. And even if it means, because there's no magic to Viola, okay? I mean, I'm not mad at them. I'll hire you if you graduated from there, if you meet the other things on our hiring process. But where you went to school, we have 1,200 employees, 1,200 team members. We have never, in the history of this company, we've hired 2,000 something over the years. Okay. Never in the history of this company have we hired someone because of where they went to school.
And you and a lot of small business owners across America where people are working.
Like almost all companies.
Exactly. So
couldn't give
majority,
a crap less where you went to school. All they care is did you learn something while you were there. And so don't tell me where you went to school and act like that qualifies you to be something. That's just prestige throwing it around, and prestige will buy you nothing in this world.
And very small industries and very small sectors of different parts.
Well, I mean, if you can find that 1% of people that are so snobby that they won't hire you unless you went to a certain school, that's fine. But it's 1.5%
That's what I'm
of the
saying,
jobs
though.
out
Like
there.
it's
So,
majority of people out there don't care where you went.
Yeah, I care. Can you hustle and grind? I heard did you learn something? Can you pull those tools out of your belt and kill something and drag it home? That's what I want to know. As an employer, that's what I'm looking for. And so cool stuff. You're a good man, Marco.
Good luck to you, and congrats on everything. You're doing an incredible job.
Well
incredible.
done. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
Hey, it's Rachel Cruz, co-host on The Ramsey Show. If you want to do your debt-free scream live on the show, visit RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream. We'd love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story. That's RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream.